Kefi here, and back by popular demand is our good friend GlobosHekili, who has nearly a decade and a half of gaming retail experience under his belt. We're going to discuss the Nintendo Switch, the rumored cancelled Switch Pro, and what Nintendo's future plans may be when it comes to developing a new console. We'll also discuss what the next Nintendo Direct may have in store for us, maybe throw in some E3 predictions along the way. And of course, talk about Tears of the Kingdom. So first off, thanks for coming back, Globos. It's great to have you.
It's always fun.
So, what are the majority of your customers saying when it comes to a Switch Pro? Are they saying that we need it?
I wouldn't say anyone says we need it, but it's due for some sort of generational upgrade. Just knowing Nintendo and how they go, 3DS, the Wii, Wii U, nothing lasted much more than, 5 to 6 years, and we're at the 6-year mark now, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's due for some sort of upgrade, and the OLED was definitely not an upgrade for hardware-wise. It was a nice little tweak for handheld mode.
It was a nice addition.
Yeah.
But it wasn't quite like you say that.
It wasn't a generational upgrade.
Yeah. I find a lot of people are often talking about the Switch's limitations. And, I mean, it's true, you're not going to see the Switch play a game like God of War or Final Fantasy VII Remake, really. But I don't think that is necessarily a drawback when you look at the library of games that the Switch has.
Well, the way Nintendo usually goes is they don't usually aim to have the most powerful hardware. They just need to make sure it runs the games they want to create. And stuff like Mario and Zelda, they're not highly graphical style games. They still look gorgeous for what they are.
Oh yeah.
But they're not, God of War realistic blood and all the particle effects and everything. They're cutesy, fun games, just that aren't, too graphically intense.
And they have quite the library. I mean, actually that leads me to my next point. People say the Switch has no games. I often see people saying we need a Switch Pro because the Switch has no games. What's your opinion on that?
I wouldn't say there's no games. There's definitely a lot of good games on there. It's just that a lot of the publishers produce games for a very short time, so you're looking at downloading half the stuff. And when it comes to the Switch and the hard drive sizes, unless you want to dish out a good amount for a good memory card, you don't have much room to download, so not a lot of people look at the store like that.
You definitely have to pick up a memory card when you're purchasing games. Yeah, I even purchased physical, and I have to put up a memory card because there's just so much stuff. There's not enough space on the Switch. But
yeah, but if you're also playing games that are usually a release on other consoles too, then they usually are set up that you have to do updates or install a lot more.
Yeah, I don't know. When it comes to games like Zelda, Kirby, Mario, Donkey Kong, Xenoblade Chronicles, Metroid, it's just, they have so many franchises that, I don't know, I have a hard time buying, when people say that, I just have a hard time buying it. It's sure they don't have the graphical games like you described, but they definitely have a solid repertoire, a solid library that people have fun with. There's no denying that.
Yeah, I think the complaint of no library is there's no Call of Duty on there, there's no NHL. It's just because the games you want aren't on there doesn't mean that they don't have a library.
Yeah, and at this point, I mean, I think all the consoles have been around for long enough, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. You know what you're going to get when, going into it, when you buy a console. Xbox, you're going to get games like Halo. PlayStation, you'll get games like Spider-Man, and now, more recently, a lot of Final Fantasies on it. Nintendo, you're going to have those, 5 or 6 or 7 properties that I just mentioned, and people are going to thoroughly enjoy them. It just seems, when people want certain games that already exist on one console on another one, yes, it's nice, but it's just if you look at the past history, it's not likely. We're not going to see, like I said, remake on the Switch, or we're not going to see Mario on the PlayStation. They stick to themselves, they got to make their money.
Definitely. And the few times that they've tried to bring a Call of Duty to a console that wasn't geared for it, it bombed. They did one on the 3DS, they did one on the Vita and the PSP.
There's one on the Wii U even.
They were not good. They were, the one that I remember on the Vita, I think, you could beat the entire game in 45 minutes. It was just a bunch of missions, and then you could play online on like a 3 versus 3 or something, but it was pretty bad.
Yeah. So I guess ultimately that leads me to, to your personal opinion. As of this point, do you think we need a Switch Pro? Or do you think it makes more sense for Nintendo to wait a couple more years and develop an entirely new console past the Switch brand, like an entirely new concept?
With how well the Switch sells, even right now, like, I feel like a generational upgrade would make more sense. Like, just keeping the Switch, but a 3DS, new 3DS kind of style upgrade. So, I think them jumping to a new generation might shoot them in the foot with all the people that are just still jumping into the Switch now.
Even if they made it backwards compatible?
Well, the new system most likely would be backwards compatible if they do a generational upgrade and not just, here's the Switch 2.0 kind of thing.
Yeah. It's interesting, because if you look at Nintendo's library at this point, we have Tears of the Kingdom coming out in May. After that, we have Pikmin 4 on the slate to be released sometime, and I believe it's Metroid Prime 4 to be released sometime. But we don't actually have much of a library, like, past Tears of the Kingdom. So, there's gonna be a long hiatus, I think, before we get some games, which makes me think, like, are they using this opportunity to develop another console? Perhaps, like, are we at the end of the Switch's life because we haven't heard very many games being announced? Or are they saving that all for the next Nintendo Direct, and then they're just going to throw a bunch of stuff at us?
Well, I feel like we get to this point every year where there's not a whole lot that we know of that's in development, and it's just waiting for those announcements. It's just, we're at that quiet time where new release season, Christmas is over, and we know there's games coming for some consoles, but we don't know release dates or anything huge on them. So I think right now it's just a waiting game for more announcements.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess that leads me to, do you believe that Nintendo is working on the Switch's successor right now, whether it is the Switch 2.0 or whether it is an entirely new generational upgrade?
I mean, there's been rumors that there was a Switch Pro in production for like the last 2 years, and there's rumors now that it's been canceled and that they're working on the next gen. I've been hearing rumors of dev kits for the next generation system, so I mean, I don't know. I can see both happening. Like, we're going to get an upgrade to the Switch, and then we're going to see like a new console in another year or two.
Really? Because I'm almost on the opposite, in the sense that I think we either get a Switch Pro or we get that generational upgrade in a few years. I can't see us getting both.
Well, when the new 3DS came out, like, it was only a good year or two until they started putting more stuff out, like the Switch. It didn't feel like the 3DS, or new 3DS, was around for very long.
That's true. Yeah. So I actually think that the next Nintendo Direct will be completely Breath of the Wild dedicated. Because they have to sell that game, and honestly, they've had, 4 minutes tops of trailers throughout the last, 3 years in Tears of the Kingdom, actually. It's no longer Breath of the Wild 2. But I think we're going to get, the next Nintendo Direct is going to be pure Tears of the Kingdom, and then E3 in June-ish, I think it's in June, is going to be when we get all the other games that Nintendo wants to reveal to us, like Pikmin, Metroid, all that. Just curious what you think about the next Nintendo Direct.
I think whatever next Nintendo Direct, it's still going to be, here's the next 6 months of stuff, and here's a full trailer for Tears of the Kingdom, and not like a huge dedication for it. And then we'll see something maybe in March for an actual dedicated Direct for Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay, because I mean, I guess they do got to start off the year with announcing some games after Fire Emblem Engage and all that is kind of sold out and stuff. They're not gonna have a whole lot, but yeah, okay.
I can definitely see a Direct in the next 2 weeks just to give us some announcements and hope that the Switch isn't gonna die that quickly.
Oh, 2 weeks. I'd say early February, mid-February, but that's not a bad one. Yeah, I think it was actually trending today. A lot of people are talking about the next Nintendo Direct. People want to know what, not only Tears of the Kingdom, but they want to know what Nintendo's doing after that. I think that's the big question, and Nintendo is always very secretive with what they do, and nobody knows until they decide to announce it.
Yeah, just gotta wait and see what they're gonna do, because, yeah, again, very secretive.
Well, I think we'll leave it at that, unless there's anything you want to add, Globos.
No, I'm good right now. That was the main stuff on my mind.
Well, thanks for joining us today. We appreciate it. And if anyone has any thoughts about anything we discussed today, anything Nintendo related, Switch Pro, new console, a new generational upgrade, or if they have a question they want to ask my good friend GlobosHekili next time he's in, just leave a comment down below in the comment section. Feel free to hit like, share, or subscribe. But even more importantly than that, I do hope you have yourself a great day. May your heart be your guiding key, my friends. And as always, happy gaming.